Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you all. How are you all doing? So, what are we doing today? I'm going to be changing some things about the corruption chance. I think it's a good idea, but maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll see. I do think it's a good idea, but we're going to do some experimenting. Just a tiny tweak to the corruption chance system. And what else? I think that's probably, I don't know. Well, so anyway, if it goes well, if that corruption chance tweak goes well, then that will probably take the whole stream. But if it doesn't, then we can do something else. But anyway, Alka Mortis has a playtest available right now. So if you want to try the playtest, head on over to the Steam page, click Request Access. Leave me your feedback. I'd appreciate that. And what else? I don't know. You can join the Discord. You can join the Patreon. If you subscribe at the top tier here for at least 1 month, I will send you an Alka Mortis Steam key when the game launches, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alka Mortis credits. So that's a nice little way of thanking you for supporting the development. So yeah, again, if you subscribe to this tier for at least 1 month on Patreon, you will not have to buy the game on Steam because I'm going to send you a key. And your name is also going to be in the game in the credits menu, so that's kind of cool. I also have Udemy courses that teach you how to build games in the Godot engine. You can check those out. That's a good way to support my work as well. Alrighty then, let's just see what we can do. Hello, Necromantic, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you, good to see you. Nathan Byler, hello, welcome. Razormeh. Necromantic, 5-stream streak, very nice. Very nice. Curly Burly, hello. I'm Sidgear, welcome, good to see you. Made a few challenge videos today. Oh yeah, I saw that, I need to watch those. Hello TK, welcome, good to see you. Today is the day for what? What is the day? Hello Opacheco Dev, welcome. Hello Gibbity. Okay. So what is the idea that I have for the corruption chance? So I got a little bit of feedback from the playtest. One piece of feedback I got was that corruption chance was hard to manage or hard to leverage intentionally. And so that's one part of it, and I think I know why that is. But the other part of it too is that I still have this problem where duplicating abilities is really easy. So one of the best ways to get a good build going is to find an item with a really good ability and just try to like get a bunch of duplicates of that ability either on the same item or on other items. And so I was thinking like, how do I address that? And I think what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to try in this stream is, right now the corruption chance for alchemy is based on the number of cells that are occupied in the alchemy board. So if I look at get corruption chance here, this is basically just summing up all of the cells that the cards occupy, and then it's doing this very linear formula. It's reducing it by 5% per occupied cell. But the problem is that doesn't really tell you anything about like what is the nature of the abilities in the ability pool, right? It's just fill up the board with a bunch of stuff. Even if the stuff doesn't do anything, it's going to reduce your corruption chance down. So what you could do is just throw in a bunch of reagents that don't do anything, get your corruption chance down to 0, and then you could very easily control, you know, like duplicating abilities and whatnot. So the idea that we're going to take a look at today is we are going to take a look at all of the abilities that are in the ability pool, and we're going to make the corruption chance based on the number of abilities in the ability pool. So we're going to totally divorce it from what cards are in the alchemy, and instead we're going to look at how many abilities do you have in the pool. And so the corruption chance is now going to become a function of like, if you have very few abilities in the pool, that means that your alchemy is going to be more predictable because there are fewer options, but that also means that your corruption chance is going to be higher. So I think that's going to work. I think that almost kills two birds with one stone. And that was something that I was actually interested in doing a while ago, but because I didn't have a visualization of the ability pool, I felt like that information would be too hidden. But now, since we are showing which abilities are in the ability pool, and we are very clearly calling out that abilities are going into the ability pool, now we have a lot more that we can do with the ability pool itself, because that information is being shown to the player. So yeah, and a bunch of fully innate corrupted. So yeah, that's the thing, right? Like if you have innate abilities and corrupted abilities, those don't get added to the pool, right? So having a fully innate or fully corrupted item is not going to make a difference, at least in this approach, to what your corruption chance is, right? So I think it's going to be, my opinion is that it's going to be a good change, because it's kind of going to fix all of these issues at once. It basically, because the intent of the corruption system, it's a risk reward, right? If you have fewer items, as it exists today, the way that it was intended is like, if you have fewer items in the alchemy, the randomization, the possible outputs, the set of all possible outputs is lower, because you have fewer items and fewer abilities, right? Which makes the alchemy more predictable. But as a counterbalance to that, you have a higher corruption chance, right? And the intent is that as you add more unpredictability to alchemy on your own, that corruption chance should go down. So you should be rewarded for doing things with less predictable outcomes, and you should be punished for doing things with more predictable outcomes. Not necessarily punished, that's why it's a chance, right? That's why it's not guaranteed. So you kind of get the slot machine effect where it's like, well, if this hits, if I get a duplicate ability on this item that's going to be really strong, of course there's a potential that it's going to be corrupted, but then there are things you can do, right? Like manipulate the items with the reagents to greatly reduce or remove the corruption chance. So anyway, so I think this is going to be a good change. But of course, like everything, we're going to have to prototype it and see what it feels like. But I think it makes more sense. I think it's going to solve a couple of the problems that exist with alchemy. And yeah, hopefully that goes well. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome. Good to see you. Good morning, Ninja Link. Hello, V. Welcome back. Alrighty, so now the question is, what do I actually do for this? On alchemy data changed. Ability pool. Alchemy data. Ability pool set. Where's this being set here? Ability configured. Okay, that's not helpful. Alchemy data. Ability pool. Config.get ability pool. Get ability pool. Ability table. Get all items. Okay, so it's just going to the ability table then. Where is that? Randomized ability pool. Okay, so it's just in the ability table. Okay. Get all items. New ability pool contribution. So, let me think about this. Let's just get ability pool. So I wonder if I should just create the ability pool. Where is this items being added? So we're adding the ability. Okay, so let's actually do this. We've got list ability pool contribution. Okay, so let's do private, not read only, list ability pool contribution. Ability pool contributions is equal to that. Actually, yeah, we'll just set it to that for now. We'll grab this. We're going to put this down here in this collect stats thingamabob. Okay, so we're going to say ability pool contributions is equal to this. Dot select dot toList. So we're going to store that when we call collect stats. And then when we do get ability pool, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. So this will just be returned. Let's just do an iRead-only list. And we're going to return ability pool contributions. Okay. So now we have the ability pool contributions. So when I do the corruption chance now, get corruption chance. So I actually don't need chance reduction, so I would need 10 abilities in the pool to get to a 0% chance at base. And I would need, what is that, 15 abilities in the pool with the difficulty tier increase. So we may need to change these numbers, but that's okay. Let's change this to chance reduction per ability. We don't need this 4 card anymore. Oh, corruption protected cards contains, yeah, we do need that actually. Okay. All right, so this just becomes very simple. This is ability pool count equals ability pool contributions dot count. And then we got ability pool count. I think that makes sense. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. That's very much appreciated. With the message Yummers. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Give me 1 second. Sorry, gotta check on the animals because they're always getting into stuff. All right, sorry about that. Always some distractions on the stream. Anyway. So we've got the corruption chance now based on abilities. So let's see what we can do, or let's see what that looks like anyway. Alrighty. So we're probably gonna have to update 35% chance to gain a corrupted ability, 30% chance to gain a corrupted ability. Now this should not change the chance at all. I'll probably want to put some kind of corruption. I mean, I have an idea for a corruption indicator here as well. So I kind of want to do like some kind of radial progress bar around it that goes down as abilities enter the pool. But we're also probably going to want to show the corruption chance in this tooltip as well, and also explain the corruption chance in here as well. So we've got a 20% chance to gain a corrupted ability. Let's just go ahead and run that and see what happens. So we did get one corrupted ability. Interesting. Okay, cool. So let's do what I was talking about doing, which is that if we, I don't know, let's add item. What do I want to do here? I need something with a lot of innates. Actually, let's do this. Oops. Add item repeat. Bell 5. Okay. So yeah, so adding bells. So these can't receive corrupted abilities because they are innate. But now they're not reducing the corruption chance. So this actually does nothing anymore. Because the abilities are not ending up in the ability pool, it's not actually changing the chance of corruption. So let's do add item candle. Let's go ahead and put this here. Cool. Well, that ended up being a lot simpler than I thought it would be. Okay, let's just do a very like quick sort of playthrough and just see how it feels. So generate test map, turn off enable player cards. Okay, here we go. Is the seed always the same for the first run? It is not, no. No, the seed is different. Okay, let's just take a couple of items here. Got a skeleton commander, got that. Let's go and grab a booster. So I'm just trying to grab a bunch of items. And then I will do alchemy. Ooh, choose only 3. I kind of want to use the skeleton. Let's see. All right, so put the skeleton in there. So the other nice thing about this change is that larger items with more abilities now are going to be really good for reducing the corruption chance. I think anyway. I don't know, we'll see. So 4 damage, 4 damage. So I can't put, let's just put one there. Put one there. 15% chance to gain a corrupted ability. So yeah, we may reduce that, but let's just see. Okay. So we got some abilities there. 18 damage. Right. So now I'm going to try to duplicate the damage onto the skeleton dragon. which I actually am going to get because the skeleton dragon has a bunch of empty slots. Cool. Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, so there's no corruption chance now. So yeah, I've got 3 of those deal 15 damage now. So yeah, that's still going to be possible for large items. Just duplicating the damage a bunch of times. But now I could put the large item here, and I've got 0 corruption chance, so I could try to get one of those things. Actually, one side effect of this change might be that large items are actually more attractive targets for duplicating abilities. Because when you put a large item like a skeleton dragon into the alchemy here, it basically just sets the corruption chance right to 0, right? Now, of course, I could try to get one of these high damage abilities onto a skeleton warrior, but the risk is higher actually that one of these is going to be replaced. I don't know. I think that honestly think that feels pretty good. I think it changes the incentive structure enough that one second. Sorry, the dog is acting up. I think it changes the incentive structure enough that that large items become even more appealing as items to use because they lower the corruption chance quite a bit. Whereas if I'm using like full 2 or 1x2 items, I have to put a bunch of those in. And so I've even put 3 items in here and I still have a 15% chance. Seems to make corruption chance plummet after the first alchemy, only for large cards, because like smaller items here, they can only have 2 abilities, right? So if you're trying to do something fancy like get, or even an item like this size, right? Even if I filled up this item here. See, like I've already put several items into the alchemy here, and I still have a 10% critical chance, right? So something just got, yeah, see, I just got corrupted there, right? So now this item, this skeleton commander, can only contribute 3 abilities, right? And so that corruption chance is only going down to 35%. This only has 2 abilities, so that's only going to go down to 25% now. This only has 2 abilities, so that's only going to go down to 15%, right? This has 3 abilities, so that's going to bring it down to 0 now, right? So this is actually getting closer to what I wanted, which is the large items actually become a lot more powerful now because they can basically reduce the corruption chance down to nothing. But if you're doing alchemy with small items, you're going to have to do probably several of them at once, or you're going to have to use your reagents and whatnot. I really do think that this, like, I'm on the right track here because, you know, people pointed out rightfully that sometimes you could just throw items in the alchemy that don't have any other purpose other than reducing the corruption chance. And I don't think that's very engaging. Left and right adjacent items cannot receive corrupted abilities. Let's just see if that works. Cool. But you could still do like your duplication stuff if you've got the right reagents, right? And here's the other thing too. If I add like Fang, no damage abilities of adjacent items will be replaced by alchemy. So I can still do this, use the Fang to protect the skeleton dragons. See, all of those damage abilities are protected now. And then I can do this. So I can protect the damage abilities. That's only going to shoot 3 abilities out. Apply 2 armor, deal 4 damage, deal 15. Look at that, see? Very nice. Actually, yeah, that should be fine. Honestly, I think that feels pretty good. I think that solves a lot of problems, but here's the thing that I like about it too is like it's not a dramatic change in terms of how the corruption works. It's basically just using a different count. I like that. I think it's good. Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Now the question is, do I do this on the playtest build? Probably not. Like Fresh Grimoire, it takes up a lot of space, but only has 1 ability. Oops. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the corruption chance as it exists doesn't need to stay the way it is. Like, I can reduce the base corruption chance. So, let's see. So I've got this many abilities in the pool, and the corruption chance is 15%. I mean, 15% is still pretty tolerable. Oh, legendary, nice. That's quite a fun grimoire. Who got the, there we go, grimoire ability. Let's see. Grimoire, giant mushroom. Add item. Skeleton commander. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's okay. Because you can reasonably get it down to like a 25% chance, even with just a bunch of unalchemized items that don't have a lot of abilities. And a 25% chance is not a lot. It's a 25% per item. But I can definitely play the chance. But I think this will be fine. Maybe I should put this on the playtest branch, because otherwise I won't be able to get feedback on it. So the thing that's making me... So there's a bunch of little tweaks that I want to make to the gameplay. The thing that makes me a little bit worried is I won't have an opportunity to get feedback on those things. If basically this is the last playtest and then it's to the demo afterwards. What I may do instead is I don't know. I'll have to think about that. See, but now that these are fully alchemized, these all have their ability slots filled up. That corruption chance is basically 0. But the thing is, the corruption chance is 0, but the randomization is a lot greater, right? I think it'll work. I think it'll work. Nyx was... Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's just the cheat helper. Okay, never mind. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that. By the way, Sentry has its first confirmed bug kill. First confirmed bug kill. I kind of want to show this, but I don't know. Is there any like personal information on here? My personal information, not player personal information. Anyway, I'm very glad I took the time to implement Sentry because I saw an error come through yesterday. It was so cool. The error came through, it had the stack trace. It was a null reference exception, of course, caused by the Ring of Departed Lovers, because that is like the buggiest artifact that's ever been added to the game. But I think I fixed it once and for all. Anyway, that null reference exception came through on the Sentry dashboard, and then I was able to go into the event, and I have it configured to attach the player's save file to the event as well. So I saw the event, I saw the stack trace, I was able to identify what the source of the issue was immediately. I downloaded the save file, ran it from the editor, and I was able to reproduce the exact issue inside of the game within like 3 minutes. And then, so I had identified and traced the source of the issue, and then it was just a matter of figuring out why the issue was happening. But like, yeah, I don't have to, when those kinds of null reference exceptions happen, those are the kinds of exceptions that cause combat to break. So I hardened that. I added a bunch of like proper try catch handling to all of the ability execution flows. And then when that error is handled in a try catch, it gets logged to Sentry with the save file and everything. But it doesn't prevent the player from continuing the combat anymore. So if those kind of issues happen again, they're not game breaking. So yeah, I was able to fix that yesterday, which was awesome. How do you orchestrate Sentry in the game? Do you have to add a metric or traces in the game? Sentry just has a it has a Godot it's a GD extension, so you just add it as an add-on to your project, and then there's a bunch of I don't know if I should click into it because you'll be able to see like my API thing or whatever, but there's a bunch of configuration options in Sentry in the project settings. And it just auto configures itself on start. For GD script, it just automatically like logs to Sentry whenever you push like error or whenever an error is thrown by Godot. But in C#, it does not automatically log like gd.push error or anything. So I'm already using Seralog for the logging. So what I had to do is I had to create a Sentry sync. So this is basically just like where logs come from. So whenever I do log.info or log.warning or log.error, I'm writing it to the Godot console, but then I'm also writing it to the Sentry sync. And then in here, This is where it's configured to capture the exception, right? So we've got capture, log event, etc. And then we've got attach save snapshot here as an extra argument, or as an extra, not argument, but we've got the scope here. We can attach a snapshot to the scope, add attachment. And the save snapshot is just this. I mean, it just serializes the current save model. So yeah, it took a little bit of configuration, and then I also have some like rate limiting stuff in here, so I'm not like, because sometimes when an error happens, it just like repeats hundreds of times in a very short amount of time. So I have a little rate limiting here. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So now whenever I do like data initializer, which is not a great name for this, but I just threw the log stuff in it. But if I just do like you know, data initializer.log.error, can include my own custom error message that ultimately gets logged to Sentry anytime I log an error or a warning, I'm pretty sure. No, anytime it's error or fatal. So error or fatal, it of course logs the stack trace, and then it attaches the save file as well. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the game finally got complex enough where I have to have this monitoring now. Hello, Lux Spark. Welcome. +1 for monitoring. Hello, Boolean. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. Well, I am pretty happy actually with the corruption chance change. So I think the next step would be to make it more apparent what's going on here. So let me think about this. So what I'm thinking, let me do this in a new branch. Corruption chance rework. So calculate corruption chance based on ability pool. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see. So what I want to do here is have some kind of like visual radial progress bar or something showing the corruption chance. So here we go. So we've got the border, we've got the center. This border may need to change. Okay, just do a new layer. Seems too much. I'm trying to think of how I could indicate this. So what I'm thinking about doing is make that thicker. Like that. And see, the idea would be that, oh, that would eventually go away. Oops. I don't really know if I like that though. Let's see. The presentation of this is going to be the hardest part, I guess. Shoot, how do I want to do this? We want to show the corruption chance as like some kind of radial thing. Do I want to just do, let's see. Do I want to just do like an outer radial like that? I don't know, that looks weird too. Well, shoot. It wouldn't look that good if I just did this either. No. Hello, Artem. That last one looks odd. Yeah. Welcome back, Monkey Software. Maybe have a corrupted and uncorrupted version and animate the change from one to the other, stopping at the percentage that the corruption is at. Could that work? Here comes the cat. So if I took, whoops. Duplicate this. So like there's the corrupted version potentially, or I could even, yeah, I mean, there's the corrupted version potentially. So if I do something like that, and then animate it like with waves or whatever. That might be the way to do it actually. So what I could do, take these highlights off. put those in front, and then do some kind of masking. So essentially, like if I'm at 80% corruption chance or whatever, it would look like this. Go away. Problem with that is that it would be really hard to tell if it was like 5%. Friendly reminder that we're all going to die. Thank you for the reminder, Beatus. Appreciate it. We went the other way. No, we can't go the other way because this side of it is basically the same color. Do I need to step that down more? 5% is not that important. Yeah, maybe not. Well, we could certainly try that approach, I suppose. We could certainly try that approach. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's do alchemy pool button center corrupted. We are going to need to remove this. We'll put this as orb. Let's just do, I don't know, whatever. I don't know why I named this so long. Okay, so this will need to be orange. Okay, and then we'll do the same here. Get rid of this. Actually, don't need to get rid of it, just fill it in. So now, when we have the corrupted version, just goes like that. And actually, now that I think about it, wait, now that I think about it, oh shoot, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? So this is actually going to be a little bit interesting compared to my other liquid shaders, because I need to do it on a texture now instead of I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the shader that well. We'll see. We can just get it working first. I'm doing all right. Been looking for a house for a long time, getting frustrated I can't find what I want. It's a good problem to have though, I suppose. Yeah. Yep, it can be hard for sure. It can be hard. I think I visited like, how many houses did I visit? I think I visited like 15 or so houses when I was looking for my house. What's one of those things I think when you're shopping for a house, it's like if you don't need a place to live like immediately, then you can just kind of wait until you find one that you know that you want. Like my mom's advice to me was always like, don't buy a house unless it's screaming buy me at you, right? Like the house is the one thing that you don't want to be like, well, it's okay, I guess I'll take it, or it's fine. It's one of those things where if you can wait, you want to wait for the one that's just like basically begging you to buy it, right? It's easy, bro, just pick one. I actually found a perfect one in the amazing location. It was just barely at my price range. I'm not anti-HOA, but I read the fine print. I was not comfortable with their rules. Particularly, they can change the rules anytime, come to your property without consent, and evict people who are not immediate family. Yeah. Yeah, that is a little bit excessive. That is maybe a little bit is an understatement. Well, let's just see how this goes. I don't know. I'll implement this and see what happens. But that would be a nice way of doing it, I guess. Okay. So file, scripts. Let's see. Yes, I want those three things. Scripts. Export layers. Save sprite. How are we all doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. That's not an HOA, that's a landlord. Just serves to collect dues and manage the landscaping. Anything beyond that is a note from me. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, so we've got this going on now. We want to add another sprite 2D. Okay, so this is the highlight. Okay, so then we're gonna do, let's duplicate this. This is button center corrupted. How can we pull button center corrupted? Okay, so we've got that very basic going on now. Those are still outlined though, right? So I actually probably want to remove the outline from these things. So let's do that real quick. Because if I'm going to be applying a shader animation to this, I don't want the outlines to be a factor. I probably don't need to remove the outline from this one either. But we might as well just be consistent, I suppose. So that the UVs all line up and everything in case they need to line up. Oh, but the problem, oh shoot. I actually probably do want to keep the outline in this one because it animates. Right, it animates. So actually, I'm going to want to parent this one to that so that as this animates, it follows. Right, okay. That's fine. So I think what I want to do actually is just remove the outline from that one. Okay, so let's just export this. I still got lettuce COVID. Firebelly is my chicken soup. Okay. I have no idea what that means, but that's all right. I hope your lettuce COVID gets better. All right, let's take a look. Okay. The other problem is that sheen effect. Oh, the sheen effect is not playing and this highlight is not following it either. All right. Shoot. So I'm going to need to do a sheen effect. So do I need to put these in a canvas group? Is that what's going to have to happen here? I might need to put those in a canvas group. Sorry, these wisps are kind of entertaining to watch. I don't know how they ended up so fun, but... So those wisps, they're very simple. Like the spawn is basically just... They do like a little back, tween easing back animation, right? So they go out and back. So they have a little bit of bounce. It looks like they're a little bit springy when they come out. But as they move from location to location, they're also generating a random Bezier curve. So, and then the tween, there's a tween that's actually tweening on a method, which takes like a progress value, and then it tweens it along the Bezier curve. So it looks like it's like flying around a little bit erratically, but all it's doing is it's just generating a Bezier curve with like random parameters. And it's doing that for both the out animation, like when it first spawns, and also for the travel animation that it goes to. And then because there's the trail component, which basically just creates a line 2D with all the points that it occupies every frame, it makes it look like it's just kind of, yeah, flowy. It's kind of cool. I think it turned out good. Anyway. You can kind of bug them out if you like do this and you like shake this around a little bit, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. Cute little ability ghosts, yeah. Anyway. So I guess the first thing to do would be to create a very basic shader for this. That basically erases it or renders as transparent the further down you go. So if we treat the uv.y as a range of 0 to 1, which of course it is, we can use a progress value, and we could just basically say, hey, for any UV that is less than the current progress value, we'll just render it as transparent, right? So, but I got to get that all configured. So let's create a material for that. So let's see, material, new shader material. Okay, and then we'll create a new shader. We're gonna put this in a shader here. This is now can we pull button corrupted? Create shader type. We don't need vertex, so we're gonna need a uniform float. We'll just call it progress. Uniform float progress. Hint range is 0.0 to 1.0. Okay, so in the fragment shader, what we'll do is, I think, can we just do this in one line? We could say color is equal to mix. Well, let's do this. Let's do float multiplier is equal to step. It takes the index of the argument that is larger. Is that right? So we want to do uv.y progress. I think that's right. And then we do mix texture uv vec4. We'll just do 0.0 and we'll do multiplier. Okay. Did I do it right? Look, I did it right. Oh my gosh. First try. So now we have a progress value from 0 to 1, and as we move it down, as it approaches 1, it goes basically fully transparent. Cool. All right, so that's pretty simple. Now, obviously, that's going to be replaced with some kind of like wave shader, but that's going to take me some time to work out, so I'm not going to do it right now. The most important thing is we want to get it working, that this actually tracks the actual game logic. Looks more like a feature than a bug. Hello, Kinyas, welcome. Shaders, the black magic. Yes, they can be. For solo devs, do you think roguelikes are a good type of game to make strategically? I have no desire to spend more than a year on a single project. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why solo devs like myself gravitate towards roguelikes is because it's easier to create. So roguelikes have a number of advantages, right? It's easy to create just a bunch of rules and systems that create, and when I say easy, I mean like it's straightforward. It's not necessarily easy, but you know, it's pretty straightforward to work on creating systems and content that add a lot to the replayability. But all the rules are basically the same. It's just like you're throwing new content and like slightly different game-changing rules and whatnot through artifacts or relics or whatever other permanent like passive upgrades, etc. So it's relatively straightforward to add more variety to the game, but without changing like the base rule set. You don't have to manage a bunch of like complex data and state as you would in, I don't know, like an RPG with dialogue or something like that, right? I mean, basically the gist of it is like the more systems that you have to build, the harder and longer the project is going to be, right? So I think roguelikes are like the perfect mix of it's relatively straightforward to get a game that players can at least get, you know, several hours of enjoyment out of, without having to build a ton of like different complex systems to create that level of engagement, right? So like making a roguelike that has 5 hours of compelling gameplay is a lot easier than making a narrative driven game that has 5 hours of story, right? It's just that's just how it is. The narrative game is going to take a lot more effort to make a compelling experience than the roguelike is. That doesn't mean it's easy though. It just means that it's more direct. The other thing about roguelikes too is that they don't really need to be that visually impressive. You know, one of my favorite ones is Tiny Rogues, and Tiny Rogues has very, very basic art. Like just like black backgrounds, very basic like room decorations. The art is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's basic though. Like you could tell that that art decision was made primarily because it's really easy to create, right? But if you were to make like an RPG, I think you would be expected in a lot of cases to make something a little bit more visually appealing. I know that there's, you know, certain exceptions to that, but yeah, roguelike is just like the perfect mix of like something that's attainable for a solo developer without being like an inordinate amount of work. So it's a game genre that is very popular. Games in that genre can be very successful. The effort required to make it is on the lower end, such that it can be easily done by one person within like a year, like you said. Do you recommend using add-ons for state management or inventing your own? I mean, if you find an add-on that works for your use case, I don't see why you couldn't or shouldn't use it. I don't have any add-ons that I use except for my own add-ons that I made. But the add-ons like that I made are basically just editor tools. And also I have my Godot Utilities C# library, which is just a collection of like different tooling that I like to use in my games frequently. So I would say like, you know, if you find something that is a perfect match for what you're trying to do, then you might as well use it if that's going to improve your development speed. Otherwise, like I wouldn't just go hunting for add-ons for the sake of using add-ons, if you know what I mean. Mostly full stack Angular.net. I have lo-fi pixel art where the sprites get to the point across but don't take an insane amount of time to animate like Celeste. Yeah, that kind of thing is like, yeah. Because as a solo developer, it's just, you know, it's just going to take a long time to make anything. And so to the extent to which you can reduce your effort as much as possible is a good thing. I made the mistake of not doing that. Alchemortis was supposed to be one of those easy types of games with like very little art requirements, and like it ended up on the completely opposite end of the spectrum. So what are you going to do? I should say that I'm like not the best person to get advice from on this because I'm still learning the same as all of you are. Like I'm still figuring out like how to build games properly. I'm still figuring out to some extent how to manage my scope. I'm still figuring out like what is good enough when it comes to like doing the visuals and the art, and like when things shouldn't be paid attention to or have time spent on them. So I'm figuring this out with the rest of you guys as well. There are certain things that I've done for Alchemortis that I probably would try not to do for my next game. But yeah, you know, it's a learning experience. Isn't like you had no constraints that your color palette is serving you very well, it seems. Yes, the color palette is serving me well. The fact that all of the cards have very specific dimensions is another type of constraint. Like if I make a 2x2 card, it's like that's the canvas I have to work on, right? So that helps a lot too. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will continue on. So BRB. Okay, I'm back. Found your video of node management super useful and a good insight into what Godot can do. You highlighted your main menu or your menu screen of all items. I don't know which video you're talking about, but hey, I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you found it useful. I'm just trying to think, what video is that? Okay, so we need to get this button center corrupted. So let's grab that. Oh, what am I doing? Sprite 2D, button center corrupted. Okay. So let's grab the shader material from that. Shader material. Oh, I have a phone call. Do you hear that? Sorry about this. I gotta take it. My wife's car broke down this morning, so we have to coordinate that. Sorry about this. There's a lot of distractions this stream. All right, we're back. May I ask how old you are and how long you've been working at the game industry? I'm 32 years old and I haven't been I don't know if I could say that I've worked in the game industry at all. What that usually implies is that I've been paid to make games before. And I mean, I have made money from my game Gunforged. Gunforged sold, I think, about 6,000 copies since it released. I don't know if that counts as being in the game industry. I would say probably not. Like, I don't know. I'm not really in the industry. I just happened to make a game that sold a respectable amount on Steam. But I've been making games as like a hobby since I was 14 years old, so quite a long time. All right, so for the shader material now, let's see. So when we get the ability pool data, on ability pool filled, on ability pool empty, on alchemy results created. Oh, I don't have the pool. On abilities removed from pool, on abilities added to pool. Where the heck? Pool emptied, added to pool. Alchemy results created. That's not what I want. Alchemy ability pool. Abilities added, abilities removed. Ability pool contribution. So I actually don't have... So I might have to rework some things here. Do I need to rework it, or should I just... I'll just create another event, I guess. There's a more elegant way to do this, but right now what I'm interested in doing is just getting this to work. So, hello, G. Whittington. Welcome back. Good to see you. So list, alchemy, input, config, ability pool contribution. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should... Actually, you know what I might do? Maybe I'll just make this an action float. Yeah, I could do this. Corruption chance changed. That will probably work. So the alchemy input config, we are going to make this a public... Oh, I can't do that. Reagent effect. Minimum corruption chance. Get corruption chance. This is only used in one place. So let's do this. Let's do alchemy reagent effects. Reagent effects here. We're gonna make this null by default. We're gonna make this null by default. Okay, so if for card is not equal to null and reagent effects nullable dot contains is equal to true, we return 0. So now up in here, we need to pass in that reagent effects here. And then what I believe I can do is I can make this a public static method. Ability pool contribution, son of a biscuit. So I need to make this a little bit more generic. Okay, so let's do public. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Shoot. Public static float, get corruption chance. This is just an early return. So let's do for card. Let's do this. This doesn't need to be up here. Actually, we could probably put that there. We grab this, put that there. Ability count. We can call this ability pool count. Okay. Ability contributions, and we can return get corruption chance ability pool count. Okay. I guess we'll keep the for card not equal to null there. Why not? Doesn't hurt anything. Okay, so now I have a private get corruption chance, which will use the internal state of this alchemy input config, but I also have a public static method that only takes the ability count. And the reason for that is because this get corruption chance is actually used on a per card basis, but I actually just want to get like the overall like corruption chance, assuming that a card doesn't have any corruption chance modifiers. So in here, I can leverage the state that's inside of this alchemy input config to modify the actual chance. Otherwise, I could just get like whatever the straight up calculation is. So The reason why I want to put corruption chance changed here is because this alchemy ability pool is actually responsible for the tooltip. So I'm going to need to show the corruption chance in the tooltip here as well. So I'll just store that. So let's just do private float current corruption chance. So when we do set ability pool, we've got the ability pool, current abilities. So we're going to do current corruption chance is equal to alchemy input config.get corruption chance. Maybe I'll rename this for ability count. Okay, and then we're going to do corruption chance change dot invoke current corruption chance. Okay. How do you choose what to work on stream? Usually I choose something that I know like how to do. Like I know the approach that I want to take, or at least I'm pretty confident I can figure out the approach. The stuff that's more technically tricky, where it's just like a long time of like investigation, trying to figure out like an implementation plan, I don't do that on stream because that's not super entertaining. But yeah, it's just kind of like a random whatever comes up that I want to work on that day. But catching up the streams, I don't know why I feel more productive having them in the background. Welcome, Mohal. That's good, though. Can't wait for more content streams. Yeah, that's coming. I just need to get the demo build in good shape. And then once the demo is feeling good, I should be able to just work on content. Okay, so we've got the current corruption chance changed. All right, so... private, oh, why did I call this just shader material? Button center corrupted.material as shader material. Okay. Alchemy ability pool dot corruption chance changed plus equals on corruption chance changed. Okay. Bar desired progress is equal to 1 minus chance. Corruption tween, kill if valid. Corruption tween is equal to create tween. Tween property. Corruption shader material. Game constants dot shader fade shader progress. Final value is desired progress. Duration maybe 0.4 dot out dot cubic, I guess. So the other part of this, I don't want this to be visible if it's not active. So on dim, let me just do this for now. Button center corrupted dot visible, and then button center dot visible. So probably we'll actually want to do some kind of like fade or animate in or something, but let's just do that for now. All right, let's see if that works. Content-wise, how complete would you say the game feels? I think you said you only had a few more months before release. Yeah, I mean, I think probably like 60% of the content is in the game. I want to do like, let's see. So right now we've got 150 player items. I would like that to be closer to like 250 for player items, and then, you know, 100 to 150 enemy items, so that we end up with like 350. So we're at 236 total cards. I want to get around like 350 to 400 items. But then I also have to do a lot more like artifacts and legendary abilities and corrupted abilities and stuff like that, and enchantments and obelisk effects. So there's quite a bit to go, but I should have enough time. Like, there should be a period of about 2 months where I could do nothing but content. And so the way that it works, like you can imagine, like if I do 3 new items per day in a month, that will be almost 100 new items, right? So I think it's doable. If I have to launch the game with less content than I'd like, that's okay, because I can always follow up with content patches. Like I can always follow up with a patch like a week later or whatever after launch that has like 20 new items, right? Kind of envy the streamlined structure of a roguelike. One piece of content is one card with art, code, and some resources. Yeah. Yep. And oftentimes it's actually the ability creation that takes the longest time. Like sometimes I can, you know, bang out some card art in like 30 minutes, but then the abilities might take like an hour, especially if I'm doing something new with the abilities. And sometimes it's easy because sometimes I'll just say, well, we'll just throw like bleed and poison on it and call it a day, right? But I don't want to do that too much, right? Because like there's no point in creating a bunch of different items if they're not like different from each other. So I am trying to add at least like one, like I am trying to get it to where each item has, or almost every item, this is not always the case, but where almost every item has an ability that you won't find exactly anywhere else on any other item. Because I think that's going to add to the longevity of the game for sure. My puzzle game content means thinking about a puzzle for long stretches of time and making art for a week straight. Oof. Well, sometimes that's the way it goes, right? Like, realizing your vision requires a little bit more effort. I've been following your development blog, and I'm starting to get into game dev myself. Awesome. Well, welcome, Vinogradov. Oh, that's not correct. That is also not correct. Hello, Kelso. Welcome. Dang it. Why is that not working? Oh. Because it's still invisible, that's why. How many games you released so far? I think I have 4 games on Steam. 3 of them are not very good, but add item. Oh, I need to... Now that I think about it, I actually don't know if this is going to work. Because the corruption chance is always less than 1, so it looks weird for this to be half filled. Like, it's never going to be more than half filled, at least not by default. So I would need to express this percentage as like a percent of the sort of like maximum corruption chance, I think. Alchemy ability pool. Get corruption chance for ability count. Maybe we'll make this a tuple. Float actual chance. Float. I'll just call it remapped chance, I guess. Return chance. Chance divided by base chance. Return dot actual chance. Okay, so here, let's just do okay. A little bit weird, but that's okay. Whatever. Remapped chance. Excuse me? Oh. Tuple. Okay. All right. Let's see if that makes a difference. What's your proudest moment in making this game? Hello, Chin Ninja. Proudest moment. That's a good question. Okay, that's better. I'm gonna have to do a bunch of animation and stuff too. Proudest moment, I don't know, probably just the latest playtest, honestly. I think because the latest playtest is basically like what the full game is going to be like. There's not going to be any major changes to the game. The only thing that's going to get added really is content, and then like tweaking maybe some of the mechanics like this one. But yeah, beyond that, it's yeah, I think that's it. Because it's like the culmination of all the effort, right? It's like, and plus a lot of people have liked the game. Wanderbot's played this playtest on his channel. So yeah, I think it's just like, yeah, probably just this playtest. Proudest moment so far, the Steam release, I'm sure will be the new one when that happens. 4 games so far, I mean, why not stick to successful game you have and updates mechanics? Basically just because I don't want to. I don't. I like to have a variety of projects to work on, and you know, I'll probably do a bunch of like post-release patches for Alchemortis, but at some point too, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm done with Alchemortis now, and I'm gonna move on to something else. I don't know about this, honestly. I'm going to have to handle all those animations to get that transition properly. We're still at like a 10% chance. So if I do add item. Wow, the Warhorse doesn't do a whole lot, does it? Maybe I should add some more abilities for the Warhorse. Is there a kind of game you would suggest for first-time development? And what engine would I use? Well, of course I would use Godot. Of course. But ideas for first games for first-time development. I mean, it depends on what your goals are, right? If your goals are just to learn, then you want to find a game that has a lot of things that you need to think about, because then you'll get the most exposure to the different concepts you need to learn. But if you're trying to make like a serious project, then I would go the other way and like pick an idea that has the fewest concepts that you need to learn, right? So, but if you're just trying to learn, something like a 2D platformer is fine, because like you'll learn how to do input handling, you'll learn how to do frame-by-frame updates, you know, applying the velocity and the gravity and like processing the inputs for jumping and all that stuff. I think those are good like first projects, because they can be as simple or as complex as you want them to be, and there's a whole bunch of things you can do to like push yourself, right? So like, you know, making a platformer would be as simple as just getting like basic jumping and like collision working, right? But then you could move into more advanced topics like how do you do wall running or whatever, or wall sliding or something like that. Hello, Nerds Chomp. Do you have any game ideas you're excited to explore after Alchemortis? Yes. So the idea that I have for after Alchemortis is, I've explained it like this before. Imagine a vampire survival style game, but you don't control the character. So I've described it before as like the idea is like incremental adjacent. It's not really an incremental game, but it is. I don't even necessarily want to say that it's more passive, but it's just a different way of doing like the It's like an incremental Vampire Survivors kind of like mashup genre, but with a roguelike structure too. So you get the thrill of like putting together builds during a run, but it's more passive in the sense that it's more like an incremental game. So yeah, imagine like a quasi-incremental roguelike Survivors kind of style game. That's the vein, that's kind of the gist of the idea that I have after this game. There is one core mechanic there that I'm not mentioning, but that's the overall gist of it. I'm sure I'll be prototyping that on this channel at some point, so you'll be able to see what it's all about when I get there, but it's not going to be for a while. I mean, I probably won't be able to work on that until sometime next year. I don't know about this presentation, honestly. Now I'm second guessing this approach. I mean, maybe it can work. I just need to get the animations and stuff all good, and I got to get that dimming. So basically, I'm going to need to wrap this button in a canvas group, I think, so that I can apply the dim to the whole thing. And I actually want the corruption chance to empty when the ability pool is emptied. So in here, let's do this. Private void. What am I doing? So on pool emptied. Fill corruption chance to 0? No, 1. Right? No. 0. Okay. I'm just going to do this. I don't think it's necessary, but save a little bit of shader rendering if this is not active. If mathf.is 0 approx chance button center corrupted dot visible is equal to false. Button center corrupted dot visible is equal to true, and then I can remove those calls from dim and undim. So like helping environmentally? I don't know what that means. I can't imagine the game, but I'm excited to see it. But when you say that you don't control the character, does that mean you can't move the character around on screen? So my game has it where the player is always in the middle of the screen. Yeah, like you won't, like it's not going to be an active. It'll be similar to Alchemortis where like it's more about managing your build with a UI rather than, you know, I said Vampire Survivors because there's going to be elements of like, of that game, but without controlling the character. So you're not going to move the character around or anything. Oops, I guess I broke it. Fill corruption chance 2. 1. It's inverted, so it's a little bit weird. I'm stuck making the enemies spawn the way that I like them to. That can be tricky. If it's like Retro Mortis, that game is going to be so fun. It's going to be kind of like Retro Mortis, yeah. Kind of. I don't know. The thing with game ideas is they're always much cooler in your head. Why is this not working? What is going on here? Oh, is ability pool emptied being fired before Yeah. Okay, I'll just put this first, I guess. But yeah, the thing about game ideas in your head is that they're always much cooler in your head, and then when you put pen to paper, so to speak, that's when they tend to fall apart, in my experience anyway. What the heck is going on? Why is this not working? I swear that the 1-bit match 3 roguelike game I'm working on is a fantastic idea in my head, at least. Yeah, I mean, I think... I don't know, I think it's one of those things where, like, Alka Mortis has been a great experience, like, learning actual game design, and so there's a bunch of mistakes that I made with Alka Mortis that I probably won't make in the future, because I know not to make those mistakes. So I think it's like, the thing that makes game dev difficult, right, is that there's all these different skills that you have to learn. And if you're a great programmer and a great artist, but you suck at game design, then your game's not going to be good. So that's a skill that you have to refine and hone as well. And the unfortunate or fortunate thing about it, depending on how you look, is that you can really only hone that skill by gaining experience, by trying things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. So I think my point in saying that is that I think I have a better understanding now of, like, if a game is going to be fun or not in my head before I start it. Just from my experience working on Alka Mortis. And I could be wrong too. Like, I could say, well, I think this game's going to be fun, and then I go to prototype it and it's like, it's actually not that great. Okay, so that's kind of working. So I've got it filling when I put this in, it empties when I take it out. I need to make the whole thing dim though. So yeah, there's a bunch of work that I need to do here. Kind of annoying, but that's okay. I mean, we could try to dim it. See if we can dim the whole thing now. So this button center root now. Button center root. So we want to change this, I think, to a canvas group. So we make that a canvas group. Does the dim apply to the root? No, it applies to the button center. So let's grab canvas group, button center root. What is even going on here? Wait a minute. Now I can't do the sheen material. Oh man, I'm gonna have to redo the sheen shader to work with freaking canvas groups too. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, this is gonna break. I don't have to touch the sheen for now, I guess, but let's just see if the dimming works, I suppose. It's a tragedy of the human experience. Everything is always better in our heads. Proof, all my ex. Well, that is one way of looking at it, I suppose. So all that is dimming together now, which is good. The problem, though, is that there's a sheen effect that gets played that is not going over... not going over the whole thing. Also, wait a minute. So I need a sheen effect to go across the whole thing, and that doesn't support canvas group shaders. I don't know how I'm going to do that, actually. I guess it's not important for now, but... yeah, I mean, I could get this looking good, I think. So let's change this button center corrupted. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, I just don't know what exactly I want to do about this, because there's a couple of things that are bothering me. One thing that's bothering me a little bit is I don't really like the colors of this, because I don't think orange is great. So I'm actually going to darken all of this and make this red. And I want to see what that looks like. That might be better, but maybe not, because it's going to look weird with the black on the side there. Maybe not, actually. That actually looks okay. So let's add item Leviathan. Maybe that's okay, actually. The thing I don't like about this, though, is that because it's so much darker now, it's not as noticeable. So I don't think it draws the player's eye to it as much. The whole point of this thing was to make it easy for the player to notice. But now that it's red like everything else, it's not super noticeable as like a clickable element. Yeah, I don't know about this. I mean, it would be a cool effect, but I don't think it's the right approach. I might have to think about some other approach for showing the corruption chance dynamically. Because it's going to be like mostly red most of the time, but I need this to be a bright blue color so that players know or are drawn to it as a clickable element. Well, that sucks. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I remember saying from Scam Altman, imagine what great software applications could have been made if a game dev focused on that instead of games. That's true, yeah. It's like he's not seeing the point. Games are more than software, it's art. Yeah. I mean, game developers they tend to be very talented developers generally, but yeah, it's like there's a reason why they're making games. That's true. Hello, Real Crudo. Welcome. Just found your channel not too long ago. Awesome stuff. Keep it up. Thank you. Real Blue Radish. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Random idea. Have your character start holding the orb. Hello, Straight Pointer. I don't know about that one. It's a cool idea, but yeah. I just need to figure out a way of showing the corruption chance here. I mean, that looks kind of cool. I like the colors now. That's cool, but it's too dark. It's not going to be noticeable enough. So like this is what it should look like without corruption chance, but when it has corruption chance, it's like, yeah, it's just not noticeable. Fudge. Man. I finally bit the bullet and bought my Steam license. Very nice. Congrats. Scam Man and Doomy Dario. Make the boiling pot liquid change color. I was thinking about that, or like I could even do like a secondary orb up here, like another one off to the side or something. I don't know if I want to do that though, because then that's a new clickable element. Got to think about controller support and how annoying that would be. I mean, I could just be lazy and put it as like text here. I can maybe do like an orbiting like corruption wisp or something, or some kind of like orbiting effect on it. Would that work? So like an orbiting like red wisp that shrinks in size and slows down as your corruption chance goes to 0, and then when it is 0, the wisp just disappears. Would that work? That would look a little bit weird though, I think. I don't know. You could also have the orb grow tentacles that get longer and longer the higher the corruption chances. Tentacles might work. That's consistent with the rest of the game for sure. Yeah, maybe tentacles could work. Could have a slightly bigger ring circle around it that also glows in the same colors. Yeah, I originally like was sketching up a circle or a ring that just, you know, radially fades out or progresses out. But I didn't really like the way that looked either. I mean, I could just do like a little, put a corrupted icon here and then put a chance % here, like a little plaque or something right there. And then have it like drop down when there's a corruption chance, and then just animate it, like just make it very obvious. That could work too. I don't know. I have to think about this. Steam Next Fest, here we come. Yes, indeed. Hello, LeGinger Dev. It's going well. Congrats on the success of your game, by the way. LeGinger Dev is the developer of All Hail the Orb, if anyone has played that. It was a great success. And your favorite niche e-celeb, Mr. Firebelly, did one of the ducks for the game, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Let's see. Well, I think I needed to think about this. Also, the aforementioned issue of my wife's car being broken down has to be taken care of. So what I may do is I may just hop off and go take care of that. Yeah, I think I should go do that. Okay. It's been good working on a new game with a team of people. Also, can you show me your tooltips? Do you want to just see the visual of the tooltips or like the implementation? I can definitely show that before I hop off. How's life going? It's going all right. It's going okay. Visuals implementation is easy. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like, this is just what it looks like. Basic panel texture, scroll container, all that good stuff. Only a scroll container if they're long enough. Otherwise, there's no scroll container. All the tooltips look the same, so they're the same basic layout. Actually, most tooltips in the game are the same tooltip class. It's just like the card tooltip is a special case with a bunch of special logic, so that's different, but what are you drinking today? Water and coffee. How are wishlist looking for the game? Looking good. Like, this recent playtest got a lot of new wishlists, which is great. I don't know if I should share the real number, because I've got a publisher now and they have certain marketing things that they want to do, so I don't know if I should share that number, but it's going well. It's definitely going in the right direction, so happy about that. Love all this attention the game is getting. I'm so happy for you, man. Thank you. All right, well, that's going to be it for the stream today. I'm going to go on this adventure of going to the mechanic now. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. The Alchemortis playtest is live right now. Who's the publisher? The publisher is Feardemic. Feardemic. One of their big games that they published somewhat recently is Bad Cheese. Maybe some of you have played that, maybe not. But yeah, the playtest is running right now, so you could go to the Steam page, click Request Access, you'll get instant access to the playtest. Playtest will be running for like another week-ish, so still plenty of time to get your runs in, but this is the last playtest before the demo, and then ultimately the release, so yeah. Give me any and all feedback you may have. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, I appreciate it. I'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so I hope to see you there. Otherwise, have a great day, and bye-bye for now.